Have you ever seen anyone famous? I mean, there's websites, and they're totally dedicated to, like, celebrity sightings, that kind of thing. I remember one time I was in the Minneapolis-St. Paul airport, and Paula Abdul was walking through the airport, and we're all huge fans of Paula Abdul. I mean, who isn't? She's a celebrity. And I was actually kind of more interested in watching the people watch her. I mean, these people are obsessed with just seeing a celebrity. Everybody wants to see somebody famous, and we get all excited about that. Well, Moses was the same way. When we take a look at Exodus, he wanted to see God. But the scripture tells us that at that time you weren't able to see God and live. Peter, James, and John, they're all invited to the top of the mountain, and they have this experience of the transfiguration where they're able to see God. But it's not just Peter, James, and John that are able to see God. It's Moses and it's Elijah. I mean, imagine what Moses must have felt, the one who wanted to see God, but he wasn't able to. Wasn't even able to see the Lord and live. And finally, Moses is able to look on at the transfiguration God. He's able to see God. As it is with Peter, James, and John, as they're called and Jesus is transfigured in front of them. And it wasn't that they hadn't seen Jesus before. Obviously, they had been with Jesus, but they came to understand at that moment that Jesus was different. The scripture says that Jesus was changed. He was transfigured in front of their very eyes. And Moses and Elijah, and just imagine this great scene of he becomes as white, as dazzling white, it says, as white as snow. Huh? They see God. Peter, James, and John are able to see God. There's this super sighting that they have. Huh? You see, they had been with Jesus in the past, and they knew Jesus, and they got to be able to see him and see the miracles and the wonderful things that he was doing, but they didn't really see Jesus until the transfiguration. They were able to see that Jesus is more than they thought, that he's more than just a great preacher or a holy man or a miracle worker. Rather, Jesus was the Christ. He was the Son of God. He was the anointed one. And I think that's the invitation for us this week, is to pray for the grace to be able to see God, to be able to see Jesus differently. We all know the stories of Jesus, but this transfiguration isn't just for Peter, James, and John, or Moses and Elijah, but it's for us. It's for you. That you're able to see Jesus, that you're able to see Jesus, see God in a different manner. This week, pray for the grace to be able to see God.